Whatever the reason is that you are switching to formula, it's okay. At the end of the day, you are the mom to your baby, and you're gonna do what's best for your baby and what's best for you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a really long time since I just did a real talk video, which is really just me sitting here chatting with you guys in a very honest way, just as if I were sitting right in front of you guys talking as a friend. That's what this is all about. So today I actually have a lot of laundry to fold. I have all of this and a huge pile right next to me that you cannot see. I'm gonna go ahead and dump this out. And so I thought this could be kind of like a laundry talk video. I'm just gonna talk to you guys while I'm folding laundry. How about that? So if you guys have some laundry to fold, go get it right now and we'll do this together. I'll wait. Oh, did you get your laundry? Cool. Okay, so I have two laundry baskets off to the side here. And how I do laundry, this is not what we're gonna talk about, but I'm just telling you. So in these piles, I have our clothes, the baby's clothes, and then towels. And so I will put towels in one laundry basket, Oliver's clothes in the other, and then I'm gonna fold everything else because I'm currently in our bedroom. So that's kind of what I'm doing. If you see me tossing clothes, it's because I'm putting them in the baskets. That way I can carry them to the area they need to go. So today, as far as our chit chat, we're gonna be talking about breastfeeding. And I mean, I've stayed away from this subject. I'm pretty much terrified to talk about breastfeeding and switching to formula. People say like, breast is best and things like that. And I know that means well because I mean, yeah, that would be great, but it doesn't work for everyone. And so sometimes those comments end up making you feel guilty, which people call mom guilt. I've just been so scared to finally talk about breastfeeding and why it wasn't for me and why I switched to formula, just because I'm so scared about all of the negative responses and feedback I may get. But when I was ready to switch to formula, I went to YouTube, just like I'm sure a lot of you have, and I could not find anything. There were so little videos out there about switching to formula that I just felt like I was on my own, and I don't want other people to feel like that. So that's why I finally just decided, you know what? I'll accept some negative feedback. I just really want to be there for you guys that need it. And so that is what today's video is all about. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it. I feel like I just wish that we would all just support each other and the decisions we made. It's fine for people to give you opinions and feedback, advice, but at the end of the day, whatever you decided, I mean, that's your decision. It's your baby, it's your body. So don't feel guilty about it. I did, but don't. So my breastfeeding experience was a roller coaster ride. I mean, like, I hate to say this, but other than giving my baby nutrition, there was nothing pleasant about it at all. Oliver had latch issues from day one. I mean, gosh, like, I know people have issues with latching and stuff, but for some reason, while I was pregnant, I was like, oh, that's not gonna be me. I'm gonna give it 100%, and so it's gonna work. But it doesn't matter how hard you try, sometimes it just doesn't work. And so when Oliver was born, you know, and we finally got to that point where, you know, we had him try to latch, it just wasn't happening. Automatically, I started like freaking out and I was like sweating, I was recovering, so I was super sore. And it was just from the beginning a very unnatural, it wasn't a bonding experience because we were both having so many troubles trying to get it to work. From the beginning, it was just a stressful situation. So of course, you know, a lactation consultant came into the room and was offering her assistance, and I just have to pause for a second. I know it's their job, but I felt super uncomfortable with somebody just coming in and without even really like asking or giving you some sort of warning, just like grabs your breast and like is shoving it in your baby's mouth. It just makes it all so, I want to use the word unnatural again, but just very like forced and not that like magical experience that I expected or that I envisioned or planned for. And so that made me a little uncomfortable and just like, I can't do it, and this person is having to come grab my body and do it for me because it's my fault. I'm doing something wrong. I'm not putting my nipple in their mouth right, or something's wrong with me. Like, that's what I was thinking. And it was just extremely frustrating. But even with the lactation consultant's help, nothing. Like, he just would not latch. He didn't have a tongue tie or anything. That was all checked. I mean, he was just not latching. So then the lactation consultant just kind of examined my breast, which again just makes you feel so like, I don't know, bad about yourself. You just feel like somebody is inspecting your body for errors. So again, it's like all my fault. And what they found is that I had flat nipples, which, ding, 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 I guess it is my fault. He won't latch because I have flat nipples. So I mean, like, she like confirmed my fears that I wasn't good enough, which is not true. You are good enough. I was just feeling hormonal and like stressed because it wasn't going the way I thought it should be. So after that, after she told me I had flat nipples, she came in with a few tools. One was this like little suction thing, and it was supposed to help, I guess, kind of enlarge or harden my nipples. And so I was sitting here with this little like suction thing on my nipples, trying to get my nipples to be hard so that my baby would latch, but it would work for like a second and they went flat again. She could tell I was frustrated, and she was really trying to, I mean, you can't force something that's just not working. I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If my nipples are too flat to breastfeed, they're just too flat. So then she brought in, I think it's called a nipple shield. It was like the silicone shield that goes over my nipples, and it's supposed to help him latch on, and it worked. But every time I breastfed, I had to put that on. And she told me that like after a week or so that he might just get like the habit of it and get used to it, and then I won't need to use it anymore. A week went by, 2 weeks went by, 3 weeks went by, months went by, and I still had to use a nipple shield every single time. He refused to latch. And I even spoke with a consultant after the hospital, and it just wasn't working. Like, he wouldn't latch. So then she suggested that I pump. She said, you know, just pump, and you might have to switch to bottle if you really want him to get breast milk. And so I did. I switched to a bottle because I felt like I had no choice. He wasn't latching, and the experience with breastfeeding with a nipple shield, it's nothing like it would have been had he latched on directly to me, because it was just like this extra step, and it was not natural for him or me, and it wasn't a bonding experience at all. It was always this like stressful thing. He would wake up in the middle of the night and I needed to feed him, and you know, I'd have to like pick him up and soothe him for a second, and you know, take my shirt off or expose my breast, put this nipple shield on, try to hold it still because it doesn't like stick to you, and put him on it and try to keep holding it, and then it would fall off, or he would finally latch on. He would be drinking, and then he would move and jerk around like babies do, and the shield would fall off, and it would have like a little bit of milk still in it, and it would pour all over his face, and he would start crying. I would start crying. It was awful. And so in that time period, I didn't have even like a supply issue at all. It was only the issue with that he wouldn't latch. So I made what I considered the best decision for myself, and that was to switch over to a bottle and pump. And so I pretty much was exclusively pumping from that point forward, and I think that was probably like 2 months in, and you know, that was fine. It wasn't like pleasant, like, you know, constantly having to like milk myself. It was just this kind of running joke with my husband and I got one of those brawls that would like hold the breast pump up, so I didn't have to constantly hold them. They like freehand brawl, breastfeeding brawls, whatever. And so I'd just be like sitting there like watching a movie with him, and you would hear like just like pumping milk out of myself. So anyway, that was going well for like a month, and you know, I was fine with it. I mean, it wasn't like the ideal breastfeeding situation. It wasn't what I hoped for or what I expected, but it was going. And I'm guessing because I was pumping and maybe I wasn't getting that like natural mouth breast stimulation. I don't know why, but for some reason my supply started diminishing. It started in one breast. I'm pretty sure it was my left one, and so for some reason I was only able to get like an ounce or two out of this breast each day, but the other one was, you know, really giving me a full supply. And then like a couple weeks went by, and then that one started to diminish as well. It was just this really sad, slow process where I was realizing my stock in the fridge was slowly going away, and at some point I just ran out of breast milk that I had in the fridge and freezer, and all I was left with was what I was pumping each day, which was not near enough for my son. And it has nothing to do with how many times I was pumping. I was pumping constantly. I work from home, so I was just like constantly pumping and hoping that milk would come out. Like I was hoping that if I pumped more often that it would up my supply. Didn't work. I did try some of the methods that people suggest to up your milk supply, like oats, beer, things like that. You know, even they have those like cookies and things you can drink and all of those things that are supposed to help your milk supply, but none of it was working. I pretty much tried everything short of like calling the doctor and having them give me some sort of like medication. And you know, maybe I should have hired like a professional lactation consultant that could have, you know, really worked on me one-on-one, but I can't. There was just this part of me that was like so frustrated that this was not going as planned. It wasn't going the way it was supposed to go. And so did I give up? Maybe I gave up. Did I just like stop putting so much pressure on myself? Yes, that is what I did. So don't feel bad if you give up, because it wasn't that I was giving up. I tried. And you know, there was things I could have tried that I probably didn't. Maybe I should have tried harder. I've talked to my husband about this a million times. Like, did I try hard enough? Have I done something else? And he always looks at me and asks, is our baby healthy? Is he happy? Is he fed? Yes. Like, my baby is so happy. He's chunky. Like, he eats just fine. Like, there is nothing wrong with him, and I've been formula feeding him since he was around 3 months old. Everybody is gonna give you advice, and sometimes it's gonna feel like pressure, and you know, maybe that's something people need to learn, how to advise you properly instead of saying, well, you should do this or you should do that. Maybe they should ask you, what have you done? And then they could offer some advice if they have it, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Like, even if you do everything right, and I'm not saying I did, but even if you do, sometimes it just doesn't work, and there's no reason to make people feel guilty. Formula has been worked on for years. It's great. Like, even the formula I started with tasted like breast milk, so it wasn't a hard transition for him, and I'll have everything that we used to transition below. So my next baby, I think I'm gonna go into it not putting pressure on myself and not listening to all the other people out there that are telling me what's right and what's wrong. Stress affects your body so much. I was putting so much pressure on myself. I'm not saying that that's the reason at all why I was like drying up or anything, but stress was definitely not helping. And so next time I'm gonna go into this with like absolutely no pressure, no stress. I'm gonna give it my best. If it doesn't work out, I know from experience that formula was just fine for Oliver and it would be just fine for another baby. And I feel like if I'm just more calm, things might work out a little bit better for me. So I'm going into it with a better mentality next time, and I'm really looking forward to that. I told my husband, like, I'm looking forward to attempting breastfeeding again. Though I had flat nipples, it could have also been just him not being able to latch. Maybe this next baby will be really good at it, and that will help me feel more confident as well. So, I mean, there's just, every experience is different. Even each baby that you have is going to be completely different. So I'm really looking forward to having that second chance with that baby to have that experience, because I would love to. I want so badly to have that experience. But I do want to point out that I bonded so much with my son Oliver with formula, because once we were able to take that pressure and that stress away, and we, you know, were bottle feeding him with formula, I was really able to like enjoy each and every time I fed him. There was just no stress, there was no worry. I was just looking into his eyes and like snuggling him and feeding him, and that moment for me was like amazing. Like, I will say it, I hated it, and I hate admitting it, but it was just so bad. It was so bad. I'm just so happy. I'm happy that we made the decision that was best for us, because at the end of the day, it was best for him too, because I was happy and I was able to bond with him in a different way, in a way that wasn't frustrating, and I wasn't forcing something on him just because people said that's best. And I'm not saying it's not best, it's just, it wasn't right for me. Like, maybe next time, but this time it wasn't right for me. So I get extremely emotional talking and thinking about it, because I always, still to this day, feel like I did something wrong or I didn't try hard enough. And I need to hear from my husband and even myself that I did try hard enough and that we did what was best for our son. And you need to know that too. If you switch to formula for whatever the reason is, I know that you did it because it was best for him or her and it was best for you. If I could give you one piece of advice, and if you could take away one thing from this video, it's just stop listening to how other people tell you how to be a mom to your baby. Your baby. You are the best mom for that baby, and you're gonna make the best decisions for your baby. So if anything, just take that away and know that you are the best mom. And you deserve to be celebrated. And if I were there, I would give you a really big hug. I barely folded any laundry during this chit chat. Thank you guys so much for watching. And all I ask, you give me your opinion all day long, but try to be positive and, you know, don't fill my comments with negative responses because I just feel like there's no reason for that. I don't know. Just please don't be mean to me, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys did like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new here. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!